All right, everybody, let's get right into the main event. We got Robert Whittaker and Kelvin Gastelum. Now, the one thing I want to talk about Kelvin Gastelum and Whittaker right away is the weigh-ins. I mean, for how big of a dude Gastelum looks, he's such a thick guy, but he's athletic, so he doesn't look fat, especially at weigh-ins. But Robert Whittaker is a big middleweight. I mean, he's a bigger man than Kelvin Gastelum without question. And even on weight cut day, the man looks absolutely shredded. He looks thick. That body structure for his weight class is so good. And I think it's fights like these where you kind of see the difference, in a guy like Israel who's smart skinny. I love that kind of skinny fighter. It's the quicker, more accurate puncher, I believe, that always wins, take less damage. And Kelvin Gastelum was able to put some damage on him. That's what really impressed me about Kelvin's striking. I think that because of his wrestling, he's able to force people to read level changes, feints, things like that. And I think with Israel, he's actually proven to be a lot better since that fight. I think that was one where maybe he threw Kelvin a bone. I don't know. But I think, Kelvin's just getting so much better working with the guys at King's MMA. His striking is just oceans apart from what we've seen in the past. And it's getting so good that he barely has to use his wrestling. And his wrestling was what got him into the UFC. It's what got him on tough and got him the wins. But again, with when your striking is improving that much and your wrestling is actually forcing people to just fear you in terms of takedowns and being able to get it up against the fence and to the ground, I think that's allowing him to exploit some of his striking skills so much. I always bring up the Jack Hermanson fight with me because I, to this day, don't think I've lost money on any bigger fight because that was one where, the disappointment in his face alone was just, I think he's the kind of guy that takes the punches really well. But, it's a tough loss when you just looked so good within that first little bit there, very Michael Johnson-esque, but got caught and the Joker pulled that victory out. So I think that those are the little things with Gastelum that you kind of want to see him avoid just as a fighter, because I think that with him, you just want to see him do well and not do poorly for just bad decisions, both inside, outside the octagon, whether it's eating or whether it's like just getting caught in a submission like that. I think that he's just becoming a better fighter. He's still young, he's still hungry, and he's already fought for a title. So that's where I'm thinking that already fighting some of the best in the business. The Darren Till loss was a big one, but beating Robert Whittaker is a big deal, especially with Whittaker having those two wins over Romero, the Till win, the Cannonier win, basically put Cannonier out of the division for a little bit, in my opinion, because he's now going to have to climb back up to face some of these big dogs. So, if Gastelum pulls this off, he definitely, going to get another chance at the champion, in my opinion. That was such a close fight anyway, so it's a very billable fight. But at the same time, it's really weird to think like, if Whittaker wins this fight, what does he look like moving forward? Because it could be hella tough to watch that one go down again. Marvin Vettori on the outside looking in after dummying Kevin Holland in the wrestling department. So, the middleweight division has just so many players right now. I mean, lightweight, all these guys, right? Like there's such good divisions right now to watch. But I think this is a fight that's going to really dictate, who should get the next shot, but more so who the better fighter is moving forward, because I think Gastelum is not being given an opportunity when you look at this plus 225, plus 210, Bodog putting him at a plus 210 as we speak. And this opened it up plus 220, so he's getting some action in other areas. But Robert Whittaker is coming at a comfortable minus 250, minus 260 type of favorite. And I think that just from the size, the experience, and what we've seen him be able to do against wrestlers himself, I think it's a really fun fight. And, you want to talk about wrestling defense. Both these guys clearly have wrestling defense to the point where they just don't want to take it to the ground. For me, my favorite is looking at even Robert Whittaker, because Robert Whittaker is a pretty good wrestler who likes to take the fight to the ground sometimes. But again, 84% takedown defense for Whittaker versus Kelvin's 64%. So even in terms of landing takedowns, 27% for Whittaker, 39% for Gastelum. I think there's a lot of things that play into this, especially the caliber of fighters they've been taking on. I think your just ability to take fighters down is going to get significantly worse as you move up in the UFC. But in the same light, their takedown defense looks just as good in comparison. I think that's where you're going to see Whittaker shine. It's tough to go against him in this fight. As much as I love Gastelum on a personal level, I want to see him do well, but I just think that from an athletic perspective and just how quick that Whittaker can be with his inside out punching, his leg kicks, I think those are the little areas that are going to be tough for Kelvin Gastelum to deal with, because he's going to be able to do this for 5 rounds. He's not going to be planted. He's not going to be still. And even if this does turn into a bit of a grappling match, I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see who gets the edge here. You couldn't have asked for a better fight leading up to what is a triple title card next month or next week. You also got the Ben Askren, Jake Paul fight tonight. So just fights all around for the next 7 days. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. Don't forget, guys, I really appreciate the support so far. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. I'm going to be doing big things for the fights coming up next week, so stay tuned. But hopefully you like the videos today, and take it easy. Peace.